in the studio right now, we are joined by a man who could be given the nickname Smithy.
A man who's been in a car singing karaoke with the likes of Cardi B, A$AP Rocky, as well as Missy Elliott and Michelle Obama.
Shut the front door. He's also starred in Cats, Peter Rabbit and Into the Woods. It's James Corden!
Morning. How are you?
We like to gas you up, to get you comfortable very quickly.
I couldn't be more gassed.
Yes, that's what we like to hear.
James, welcome to Capital XTRA. How are you feeling?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you for taking the time. You are here to tell us all about the final, the last, don't cry, don't beg, it's over, don't live round here no more
Yinka.
season of The Late Late Show with James Corden in London.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to tell the people what's happening.
Don't cry, don't beg,
It's
it's
the
not
end
around here
of
no
an
more.
era. It's the end of an era. How does it feel?
I mean, it doesn't feel like the end of an era. This will be the last time we bring the show to London.
Yes.
So tonight will be our last night on Sky Comedy at 10. But then we still have another 200 shows to.
It's the end of an era, James.
I know, but I can't it's too far away to even think about really. Like, yeah, I mean, I never thought we'd make 200 shows total. So, you know, it's all going to be incredibly, of course, emotional. But right now, you're kind of only ever, I guess you must feel this, when you're doing a job like this, like what you do now, what I do, there's a lot of similarities. You're just sort of running, going, well, I can only really think about,
Now.
I can only think 2 shows ahead,
Yeah.
max, because who knows what's going to happen.
That's
So,
true. That's true.
yeah.
And, you know, like 50 Cent's retired about 65 times, so.
Yeah, he's stuck at it, isn't he? He's down tools and carried on. So, but I don't think I'll carry on hosting the show. But I'm not retiring.
No.
There's no retirement. I'm just going to stop.
He's a baby
doing
boy.
it. I'm just going to stop doing this and then hopefully do something else. Yeah.
You've got 4 special episodes filmed in the capital. The show is available exclusively on Sky Comedy and Now. And we know you're going to be joined by some pretty huge guests. John Boyega,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel, Cat Burns, who we love on Capital Extra.
Yeah.
Who are you most excited to sit down with?
Well,
If you can name one.
what's odd is because on Tuesday night show, we put out this a Carpool Karaoke with Lizzo, and I love her so much. And for so long, certainly through COVID, when we couldn't do Carpool Karaoke, I would just say all the time, her music is just made for that
Perfect.
thing of singing in a car. It just is. There's so many songs, Good as Hell and Juice and About Damn Time. I was like, these are made for this segment. So I'm so thrilled we got to do that. And then as far as guests on the show, we had some really great, like pairings like Billie Eilish and David Harbour, really great. Played a big game with Billie. And then the show I'm really looking forward to, like Vin Diesel and Ed Sheeran on the same show, because also neither of them, and this is amazing, neither of them have anything to promote.
Just here for a
They
good
are
time.
just coming down for fun.
I love that.
And so the prospect of Vin is pretty wild anyway when he's on our show. He always has been. I'm very, very excited to sit down with both of them. I think that'll be real fun.
Ed Sheeran and Vin Diesel.
Do you know what? You are definitely the glue, because if I if I had to pick 2 people who I think are less likely to sort of like be in a room together, not get along, I think they get along, but be in a room together, my brain wouldn't even go to that corner.
But that's the
They're
beauty.
that's
That's
brilliant.
kind of what we love doing on the show. Really, is trying to build scenarios where you think, well, if this was like a dinner party or a drinks thing, you'd really go, oh, wow, I never thought this would work. You know what I mean? We've had ones with like, I think of like shows at home, we've had like Zac Efron and Sir Ben Kingsley. And that's 2 where you just would never ever see them together, but got on like a house on fire,
So you, of course, have had the John Boyega, the wonderful John Boyega on the show. We're from the same part of London, actually.
Right.
Although we've never met, but I keep telling people he's my friend. I should probably stop doing that.
You do that a lot.
Yeah.
Which part of London is this?
Peckham.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but is there anything you can tease us with that chat? Did you ask him if you can audition for his next movie?
We haven't had that
Oh, you
discussion
haven't?
yet. No.
Oh.
But I'm a big fan of his. The last time he was on the show, we did one of my favourite things, which was a parody song of The Boyega Is Mine. No, it was John Boyega is mine. No need to give it up.
Do you know that would go down on Capital XTRA?
Correct. Of course.
Play that Reloaded.
But that was one of my favourite bits. I think it's John Boyega, Sam Smith, Minnie Driver, and then the next show is Tessa Thompson and Jamie Dornan.
Oh, lovely.
So, yeah, I think I'm a big fan of John's. In fact, all the people that he travels with as well, they're a really great group. So I'm very excited to have them on the show. I mean, the biggest difference between UK audiences and American audiences is, and I'm much more inclined to lean towards the UK side of this, is American audiences are so enthusiastic.
Yeah, I thought he was going
That
to say that.
sometimes you're a bit like, all right, guys.
Quiet down.
Even I know it wasn't that funny. And it's like, you know, and they're just like, woo! Yeah! Oh my God! And they love, you know what they love? Clapping in time. So sometimes, because we'll play the carpools out to the audience in the studio whenever we do those carpool karaoke's, and the warm-up guy in our studio will go, don't clap along in time to the music, because it just makes it a bit hard, because sometimes it will just drop out quite quickly and people will start talking and things like that. So if you can, enjoy it, laugh if you want to laugh, you know, okay. And sure enough, you'll play it out and they're just and there's me and a warm-up guy just going like, stop with that.
Have you ever, like, you know, because American audiences are so enthusiastic, have you ever come back to London or gone somewhere else in the world and been like, oh,
You guys are dry.
is it not that funny?
Yeah, no, well, yes. Although, I was in a play which I did in London called One Man, Two Governments, which I did at the National Theatre and then in the West End.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to the play did really well and people really loved it and really big audiences. And then we went to New York and we did it on Broadway, and I was so not known in any way in America. Like, it was sort of a joke that even my name was above the title of the play. Nobody knew, of course, anything that I'd ever done. But because my face was on the poster, every night that I'd walk on stage, I'd just get a round of applause. Before I'd said anything. Before I'd said anything at all. Like, nothing. So in one sense, they're very, very, very enthusiastic. But then in another sense, they can also be brutal with their criticism. So once in that same play, I'd walk on stage, round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Started to get used to it even. And then we're doing the show and someone's phone goes off on like the third row. And normally, you know, you've been in the cinema or theatre and you go, oh, someone,
Yeah,
and you turn it off like in your pocket and try and get it off. Not this lady. This is like a Wednesday afternoon and we're doing the play and the phone goes off and we're trying to carry on with the scene and the phone goes off and this lady goes, hello! She goes, I'm in the theatre. Says, I'm watching a play. No, a play. And then she went,
Oh my God. And you're there, like, with your props.
on stage.
Ready to say your next line.
And all you can imagine is someone going, oh, play, what's it like? And I had to sort of I just laughed. I was like,
Okay,
good
I'll
for
continue.
you, actually, yeah.
No, I would have cried. I would have cried.
All right, James, the Late
Yes.
Late Show is so iconic, but a skit that we love and I think is so legendary is, of course, Carpool Karaoke. You mentioned it earlier. Obviously, when you're in the car, you sing along and it's great. How did the idea come about for the show? Did you just do this in your everyday life and then think, you know what, this is got to be done?
It came about because when we were starting the show, you're always looking for like, what are the sort of tent poles? What are the things that are going to define the show outside of it being a late night talk show in America? And we realised that other hosts that do those shows, like Jay Leno's show, he had this piece called Jaywalking that was huge, or David Letterman would do like stupid pet tricks, or Jimmy Fallon would do like lip sync battles and things like that. And we were like, I wonder what will be our thing. And I'd done a sketch for Comic Relief with which had an amazing cast of people. It was my character from Gavin and Stacey Smithy, and it was like Paul McCartney was in it, and Gordon Brown, and Rio Ferdinand, and a huge Keira Knightley, a huge cast of people. But the sketch started with me and George Michael singing Wham songs in a car. And that sketch really did well and was very, very popular and drove a lot of money on the night. And lots of people would talk to me about it. But the thing they'd speak to most was singing these Wham songs with George Michael in a car. So when we were sort of launching the show, we were sitting with some of our writers and we were saying, what's the thing that's going to define the show? And we started just showing them stuff that I'd done back at home because, no one really knew whether I was an actor or a comedian. It was no one really quite knew what we were doing. Basically, we didn't know what we were doing, and we were like, what if there was a piece where we could pick up the biggest stars in the world and get them to sing songs and sing their hits? Because the hardest thing to ever get artists to do is play their old stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And deep down, all we really want is to hear their old stuff.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, and then we were like, but why? What's the reason? There has to be a reason for it. It can't just be like a car sing-along. And then my best friend, who's the exec producer of the show, Ben, was like, what if you need someone to help you get to work, to use the carpool lane? And I went, carpool karaoke, and we looked at each other and went, oh, that's a thing.
Ding, ding, ding.
And we thought, naively, everyone we could ever speak to would love this idea and would go, oh, of course. And I swear, we can play a game now, right? Everyone all of us in the studio, play a game. Mm-hmm. In your mind, don't tell me, think of any artist, okay? Any artist who's, made more than 2-3 albums, right? Any artist, you got one?
Yeah.
You got one?
Yeah.
They said no, okay? And because everybody said no to the thing, and then
Beyonce, how could you?
Well, it was a chance meeting with Mariah Carey's A&R or PR officer or whatever, and I played her the clip with George Michael. Mariah Carey, I didn't know this at the time, was a huge fan of George's. And she said, and I think she had some new Vegas dates to promote or something. And it just so happened that our first week of shows was going where this announcement was. And Mariah Carey said, if it's good enough for George, it's good enough for me, I'll do it.
Oy, oy.
But then we turned up that day and Mariah Carey said, hey, I ain't going to sing today. Is that cool? And I was like,
No, it's not cool.
it's sort of quite a big bit. But she came round and we'll always be indebted to her. She's the best.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Well, look, this isn't something that can be flippantly talked about.
No, because
This is-
some might say
depends
the
on
king
room.
of.
No, it depends on the vibe. I mean,
The
where
vibe
are
right
we?
now
What's
in
the
Capital
vibe?
Extra.
Capital Extra.
What's the vibe? We're out. What time is it? How many drinks have we had?
All right, we've had 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it's not that late.
Yeah, it's a good
Was
night.
it 10:30.
10:30.
It's 10:30.
We're still warming.
We're warming up.
Yeah, and but you know what? The vibe is like a little bit dead, and we need someone to pick it up, James. Like, as in,
Oh, if the vibe's dead.
yeah, and you got to bring it back to life. You got to resuscitate that bad boy.
This is really tough. This is well. The first thing I would do is say, let's kick this off with a group number.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe we
Team effort.
do something just silly. Maybe we lean into something just silly, reckless, spice up your life.
Oh.
Right? Or if you're adamant that I go up,
Yeah.
I mean, I can go anywhere here. I can go.
I ain't afraid.
I can go Montel Jordan.
Oh. I quite like that.
You don't even have to say the song.
It's just no. Ooh.
You just say Montel Jordan. Is this how we do it?
Yeah.
Or would I lean into like some heavy Queen?
Do you know what? Queen's my favourite band.
When are we going out? Because
But
this
don't
is
tell
sounding
anyone though,
like
because we work on Capital Extra.
It's a good night. Why are you not allowed to say Queen? Of course.
Stormzy and Stormzy only, all right?
Yeah, hey, you laugh at Skepta's shoes and be done.
And you know, one of the greatest moments I had this year was bumping into. And when I say bumping into, I mean literally walking into Stormzy at Coachella.
That's a tall man.
In the middle of a crowd, he was wearing white heart glasses.
He wears them everywhere.
It was exceptional. She looked exceptional. And what was great is my son is 11 and starstruck by basically no one, but couldn't believe that he met Stormzy.
I mean, his dad's James Corden.
No, but
and
he
he's like,
couldn't-
whatever.
No, but that is absolutely true. If anything, it's an eye roll. But meeting Stormzy was a huge moment for us.
Well, do you know what, James? It's been an absolute pleasure having you on Capital XTRA Breakfast. You're such a legend. I feel like we could take all your time and talk all morning, but you are a busy guy.
I'll come back anytime you want.
We'd
this
love
is
that.
a thrill.
You are coming back to the UK permanently, you said, right?
We don't know yet. We're going to find
Maybe,
out.
possibly,
Hey,
potentially.
Listen, he's a busy guy. He's
But
got things to do.
I'll be back later in the year, and I promise I will be back, and I can't wait for us all to catch up then. And then I think we should meet up in 10 years and see what we've all achieved. But we should do it in a karaoke booth.
There you go.